Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Rob Oriti.
You're listening to the Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're good.
We're doing good. Well, let's get the show started.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get this thing started. So tell us a little bit about you. Like, what do you actually do?
So I am a realtor with Howard Hanna in the Ohio City office, which is on the near west side of Cleveland. And in addition to being a realtor, I'm also an interior designer.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. So that's how your house looks so put together behind you, the backdrop.
I have a little bit of experience. What can I say?
So which one started first?
Design started first,
Okay.
which is how I kind of got into real estate.
Nice. So when you were younger, is this what you had planned for your future, or what'd you have planned?
Well, when I was younger, anybody asked what I wanted to be, I would have told you the co-host of the Today Show or the host of Saturday Night Live. Like I would be like a standing hosting gig that I would have. But this has turned out pretty well, so I'm not complaining.
Have you ever hosted anything like that?
Surprisingly, no.
No?
Yeah,
They're missing
it never
out then,
came
huh?
to fruition.
Yeah.
Never know.
They're missing out. Hopefully someone hears
seriously.
this. Yeah. They're going to hear this.
I'm glad someone finally acknowledges that.
So then how'd you get to where you're at now? Like how'd that whole process go?
So it's kind of a crazy, weird story. I was in recruiting and sales for 4 or 5 years. And I was living in St. Louis, Missouri, where I went to school. And I was working for a company that unfortunately, my division was laid off, and it kind of brought me back to Cleveland. And shortly after I got back to Cleveland, my parents' house burned down.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was in between work. I was working at, a restaurant, and I was, trying to pick up work here and there. But what ended up happening was I kind of took over and managed the project, the rebuild of their house.
Okay.
So as I was doing that, someone approached me and said, "Hey, I think you would be really good in real estate." And I was like, what? No, I don't know. Like I hesitated on it for a while, while doing a few other design jobs, and it just kind of came to be.
Nice. When you first started out in real estate, is there any, did you join as a team, or were you solo? Did you join a team?
I joined as a team. I was on a team with Keller Williams for 2 years, my first 2 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I built like my own book of business, kind of worked my sphere. And I did that for 2 years, and now I'm back on a team.
Okay, nice. When you first started out, was there anybody who maybe gave you advice that has just stuck with you throughout your career in real estate?
My old team leader with Keller Williams, he always said he gave me a checklist of things that I needed to do before I closed my computer for the evening. And that has stuck with me. Have I called everybody that I needed to call? Have I emailed everybody that I needed to email? Have I snail mailed when snail mail was a thing? Everyone I needed to mail. Have I, basically communicate, and make sure all of my communication was done and complete before the day was over.
Yeah. I feel like those checklists are ever growing.
They are always growing.
Yes. Kind of switching up the questions here a little bit. What is the worst property you have been to?
Okay. So I had to think about this one for a second when you sent me the questions. But I would say the worst property I've been in was definitely the one where I got flea bites on my ankles.
Oh man.
I went through with an investor client, and we were walking the property, and it was just this old dilapidated house in Cleveland, and there was carpeting everywhere. And it was a last minute showing, and it happened to be summer, and I was wearing sandals, and I went in and I got flea bites all over my feet and ankles.
Huh.
When you first said investment property, I was like, well, there it is. That's why.
Yep, that's exactly it. It was a complete gut.
Oh, man. Do you have any goals you want to accomplish for the rest of this year and going into the next year?
The rest of the year, I mean, I would love to close out this year selling 8 million. I've so far this month, I've put 4.2 million under contract.
Nice.
So I'm at like 7 million for the year. So
Wow.
hopefully I could do 8 million this year. And then next year I want to up it to 10 million.
Nice. Oh yeah. You can get there. This year's not over.
Yeah.
No, this year is definitely not over. And it's still very crazy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. You're definitely going to get there. Maybe even surpass that and get to your next year's goal. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And goals are always meant to be changed. So we can adjust and go up from there.
Oh, yeah.
If you could start over today, is there anything that you would do differently?
I think I would prepare myself a little bit more for how long it takes to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly get started and build a consistent client basis.
Okay.
I was told by someone, plan for 3 to 6 months. And I have been telling people plan for a year to 18 months to really get established.
Yeah. Was it with your first transaction, when did you get that? Was that in that 3 to 6 month time frame, or was it closer to that year?
So my first transaction, because I was on a team and they were feeding leads, I actually got my first transaction under contract 6 weeks after I got licensed. But closing time and et cetera, my first closing didn't happen until I was 3 months in. And I was so focused on that one sale that I didn't focus on anything else. And then when that closed, it was,
oh no.
Okay, well, yeah, now what?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, the best advice I could give to somebody would be plan on a year to 18 months before you get it down and in yourself in kind of a groove. And yeah, if you could do that, you could do anything.
What's the best way, do you think, to jump into that groove? So I know you mentioned that when you had your first one, you were kind of all focused on that one. What's the best way to kind of go about spreading your time in that sense and kind of focusing on everything else around you, but still that main one that you're working on?
So it's funny, I read Ryan Serhant's book, and he talks about always having, juggling balls in the air, and just constantly you need to be juggling and, figuring out your groove and what works best for you. And it's all about routine, making sure your time is blocked out and making sure you have time in the morning to reach out to clients, time in the afternoon to reach out to clients, have your time, your set times for showings. And then in the evening, reaching back out, getting your paperwork done, your contract work done. Really making sure you get into a routine. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just when you're starting out, that's hard sometimes, just
so
because,
hard.
Yeah, you're so focused on, like you, maybe that one sale and maybe not so much the big picture.
Right. And then to also piggyback on that, you're also focused on, okay, well, if this one sale doesn't work out, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if this one doesn't work out? And where it really clicked for me was, okay, if this one doesn't work out, I have 3 more in the queue right behind it. So it's not so much focusing on that one. It's realizing, oh my gosh, I have all these things happening. I have all these balls in the air to juggle. Let's focus on juggling them all and making it really consistent, really cohesive, rather than just focus on that one ball that might drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I know you mentioned a book as well. What is your favorite business book that you've read?
So I mentioned the Ryan Serhant book just because I was I'm in real estate. It was really great to read from a real estate perspective. But I think the best book in terms of business that I've read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we hear that one.
I just really it just gives a different perspective on everything. It's not even business it's not even exclusively business. It's just, it gives you a really good perspective on just life and how to bring business into your life, and business isn't always everything. So we have to really make the most effective use of our time.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you mentioned in the beginning of this recording that you are an interior designer as well as a real estate agent. Kind of tell us a little bit about that. Are you still doing interior design work right now?
Absolutely, I am.
Okay.
It kind of goes well together.
Oh, yeah.
So my partner, Adam, and I own an interior design firm, him and his design. We do everything from, staging to we're now on our 5th house building from the ground up this year. So it's really exciting. I actually just closed on a deal with a client. We went to her house and she wanted to renovate her 2nd floor because her house wasn't fitting her needs anymore. And with her budget, I said, this, just the realtor speaking in me, this is not a great investment. You'll never get this money back out of this house. Okay. And you'll spend every bit of your budget just rearranging the 2nd floor, and we won't even touch what you want to touch on the 1st floor. Huh. Yeah. So it actually turned into me getting her this, to buy a house, and we're starting construction on that next week.
Nice.
Well, that's exciting. So now she gets a new home that's going to be fully renovated to fit her needs and her style. That's fun.
Exactly. So it's not the first, but we're kind of working that angle out a little bit more. We're kind of seeing how that goes. But yeah, we mostly just stick to just design, renovation, etc.
Nice. Do you typically stage for your listings, or do you have
Yeah. So what I do is I'm like, okay, obviously if you list with me, I give you free staging. And with that, we really actually just like to use what the sellers have more often than not. We do have an inventory of staging, but we don't like to use all of it. Mm-hmm. We like to fill in where we need to fill in. Yeah. But really it just makes for an easier process for the seller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's probably a lot easier on everybody the whole way around just to use what's already there rather than taking out and bringing in all brand new. Just kind of fit
exactly. Or like looking at a seller and going, okay, like this arrangement of a room works well for your lifestyle. However, for potential buyers coming in, if we move this over here or, mm-hmm. we rearrange this way, it might make the room look a little bit bigger, and it'll help sell your home a little bit faster for potential buyers.
Awesome. So are you kind of splitting your time half and half between both interior design and real estate? Or are you full-time for both?
So I'm kind of splitting my time.
Okay.
But both are full-time, if that makes sense.
Yep, I get it.
Yeah. So luckily I have Adam, who kind of takes on a little bit more of the interior design aspect of the business. He's very client facing on that, and he's actually at a client meeting right now. So I don't have to be there so I could do this interview. And he really takes that on head on. Whereas for me, the real estate right now is just it's so busy that I need to be focusing like 100% of my time on the real estate.
Yeah. Especially how fast everything is going.
So fast. Mm-hmm. It's like makes your head spin.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely does. Well, thank you for coming on today. Before we go, can you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you for both real estate and your interior design?
Absolutely. So for interior design, I think the best way to get a hold of us is follow us on Instagram at _him&his. And then, my phone number, people could reach me by phone or text message, which is 216-789-0332, or even my own personal Instagram at Rob Oriti at ROBORITI.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you bringing me on. I'm looking forward to doing many more photo shoots with Randy. She's the best.
She's awesome.
Yes, she is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are these working?
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe? What do we got to point at? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
It might be there.
might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Find it. It's red.
Yeah. And it's
Red.
blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah. I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them if they can hear us. We should probably tell them also give us a 5-star review if they're listening on Apple. That'd be cool.
5 stars,
review.
guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take
But-
4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
No, I don't think this is working.
This is not working.